They thought they were throwing dirt on your grave, but all they did was plant a power they could never cultivate themselves. To those who smile to your face while sharpening their knives behind your back, this message is for you as well. You didn't just cross a line, you dug a pit so deep in hopes of burying someone who was never meant to stay down. Now you're left choking on the smoke, the ashes of a plan that consumed itself. The universe doesn't forget, and you weren't up against a single person. You were struggling against the current of something much greater than your ego could ever comprehend. Before we go any further, make sure to like and subscribe so this message reaches more of the chosen. Every time you engage, YouTube signals this video to others who are ready to wake up and remember their power. Let this algorithm serve as a mirror, reflecting back to those still walking in silence, still doubting their strength, and still believing they're alone. They're not. Welcome back, chosen ones. You didn't just survive, you exposed the sickness in those who once claimed loyalty. What happened to you was never about weakness or failure. It was pressure, and pressure only breaks what's fake. You were never broken, you were just buried beneath noise, lies, and envy, so loud they were mistaken for truth. Let's make one thing clear: you didn't lose them. They lost the protection of being close to someone the universe had marked with purpose. Your light terrified them, not because it was bright, but because it revealed every flaw in their own reflection. Being chosen isn't only about elevation, it's about exposure. Your growth forced them to confront just how little they were willing to rise. Instead of rising with you, they reached for your ankles, hoping to drag you down. They underestimated you, confusing your silence with weakness, your retreat with defeat. But the universe never rushes, it moves in cycles. While they laughed, you evolved quietly, steadily, and powerfully. You became the storm they never saw coming, not because you were loud, but because you weren't. You are the threat they tried to mock out of existence, the living proof that some people get hated for nothing more than refusing to dim their own light. Now they sit in the full awareness of how far they had to fall just to try to touch your peace. They didn't destroy you, they destroyed their own access to you. That's the difference. And to you, the chosen one, stop acting like you were abandoned. You were hidden. There's a difference. Stop doubting your light just because they couldn't stand in it. You were never fighting alone. They weren't even fighting you. They were up against the universe, and nobody wins that battle. The power you carry doesn't need anyone's approval, it only needs to be awakened. So wake up. This isn't a revenge story. It's a warning, not for you, but for them. Shame doesn't have to be shouted to be felt. The ones who tried to destroy you now live haunted, not by your presence, but by the echo of everything they tried to kill and failed. Every room you walk into is now a reminder that they couldn't stop you. Every success you claim is a line in a story they can never rewrite. Here's the truth that will haunt them most. The universe chose you, and now it's moving for you. You weren't just the target, you were the test, and they failed. Stay sharp, because more truth is coming. If you've ever sat in silence watching people try to shatter you without cause, this isn't just content, it's confirmation. The very fact that you're still here proves you were never meant to break. So, lean in, chosen one. They should have known better, but now you will know clearer. And now, let's break it down step by step. Stay sharp and stay with me. Number 1, they mistook your stillness for surrender, and now they're paying the price. They thought your silence was weakness, but the storm never announces itself before it hits. It just hits, and it hits hard. They laughed when you went quiet, thinking they'd won, thinking you were finished. What they didn't realize is that real power doesn't perform for an audience. Real power doesn't scream for attention or beg to be seen. Real power retreats, rebuilds, and reloads. While they danced in the mess they created, you were gathering something they could never touch: alignment. They saw your pause as a breakdown, but it was actually a setup, a shift, a preparation. You weren't defeated. You were becoming dangerous. Let that settle in. They weren't just fighting you, they were going up against the very order of the universe, and the universe never loses its battles. They picked a fight with a system far bigger, smarter, and more patient than them. Now, they sit hollow and humiliated, trying to figure out how everything slipped away. The truth is, it slipped the moment they mistook your stillness for surrender. Now let's talk to you, the one who sometimes forgets what you're truly made of. You might have thought they were winning because things got quiet, because no one called, no one clapped. Maybe you let that silence shake you when it should have steadied you. Don't you get it yet? You weren't alone, you were hidden. You weren't losing, you were being loaded. The universe never displays its weapons before the war. And you were built in that silence. They couldn't see it. But that was the point. It's time to stop treating your isolation like punishment. It was protection. It was preservation. You were pulled back so your return could sting. When they tried to take you out, they only sharpened the very thing they feared. That's the real irony. They dug the hole, but now they're the ones buried in it. And you're walking tall over the wreckage of everything they built to bury you. Do you want to know why they're ashamed now? Because they watched you get back up after everything they threw at you, not just stand, but shine. You became undeniable. The harshest truth they now face is that they did everything possible to destroy you and still failed. They brought lies, slander, fake smiles, fake love, manipulation, every tactic, and you still rose. What does that say? You were never the weak one. You were just surrounded by people who feared what you were becoming. Here's the part that stings the most for them. The access they once had to you is now gone. The same silence they mocked is now the barrier they cannot break. You gave them grace, and they turned it into a weapon. Now the universe has turned you into a living reminder. Every win you earn is a receipt. Every door that opens for you is a consequence. Every time your name is mentioned in places they can't go is a lesson echoing back to them. Stop asking, why me? That question is too small now. Start asking, why not me? You were chosen for a reason. You were picked to carry something most people would have folded under. You're not just lucky, you're positioned, and that scares them more than anything. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't block what was already aligned for you. Remember, they weren't fighting you. They were challenging the very hand that selected you. So, chosen one, let this be the last time you ever shrink in your own light. No more apologies for surviving what broke others. No more shame for rising when they expected you to stay shattered. The universe isn't neutral when it comes to its chosen. It moves, it shifts, it clears away everything not meant to stand beside you. That silence? It wasn't weakness, it was a warning. And now, the silence is over. Now it's their turn to sit in it. Quick pause, family. If this message is resonating with your soul and you'd love to support this sacred work, feel free to buy me a coffee. It keeps this space flowing with truth, light, and divine clarity. The link is in the description. And if you're feeling this, drop the number 88 in the comments. Let's keep going. Number 2. They spent everything trying to break you, and now their souls are in debt, crushed beneath an interest they can never repay. When someone betrays a chosen one, it's not just about losing access. They bankrupt their peace, and peace is a currency no fake heart can ever afford again. Let's make this clear. They didn't simply lose you in some casual falling out. They spent something irreplaceable, burned bridges that can never be rebuilt, and now the cost is coming back to collect. Not through your rage or any act of revenge, but in the quiet emptiness of their own lives. That nagging sense of emptiness, the restless sleep, the fake laughter that falls flat when no one is around. These are the real prices paid for going to war with someone protected by the universe. All for what? A fleeting sense of false power, a few months of empty applause from people who mean nothing. They sold out their integrity for influence, And now they can't rest without background noise because the silence exposes too much. They aren't haunted by you. They're haunted by what they became in their attempt to destroy you. Chosen one, you've spent nights questioning yourself, blaming yourself for not seeing the red flags sooner, feeling weak for being loyal, and ashamed for staying real in a world addicted to the comfort of masks. But let me tell you with certainty, you were never the mistake. Trusting them was not weakness. Having a good heart in the face of snakes doesn't make you foolish. It only proves the depth and strength of your character. They used you, drained you, tried to snuff out your light, and then acted surprised when darkness began to follow them. There's a law in this universe, unspoken but absolute. What you give out, you always get back. Not always from the same people or in the same moment, but it always returns. When they moved against you, they weren't just hurting you. They were creating a spiritual debt they can never repay. Because the universe doesn't take cash. It takes peace, it takes clarity, and it takes rest. Their soul has now been repossessed by the choices they made. If you want proof, look closely at them. Maybe they're still posting online, still smiling, still surrounded by people, but it's all just noise and performance. Watch their eyes. See how quickly they jump from one distraction to the next, how busy they always are, because stillness brings them face to face with the truth. They lost someone rare and real, and they'll never sit at your table again. And let me say this for you. Stop shrinking yourself to make them comfortable. Stop mourning people who gambled with your worth and lost. Don't waste time replaying the past, searching for what you could have done differently. There is nothing you could have done to make someone love you right when all they ever wanted was control. Let that reality sting enough to shatter the illusion. You were never the problem. You were the mirror, and they couldn't stand the reflection of their own shortcomings. They thought they could treat you like everyone else, and that's exactly where they went wrong. You weren't just another option. You were an upgrade, a blessing that carried responsibility. They wanted the benefits of your presence without earning your energy, craved your loyalty without offering real foundation. Now, they walk around carrying a curse, not because you wish them harm, but because they violated something sacred when they betrayed what the universe chose to protect. You must stop doubting what you carry. That inner voice telling you maybe I'm too much needs to be silenced. You weren't too much. You were just too real for people who only wanted filtered, superficial connections. You were too solid for people built on shifting sands, too truthful for people who preferred comfortable lies. Don't ever forget, they didn't just betray you, they betrayed the best parts of themselves. That's why their victories feel empty, their smiles feel forced, and their lives are filled with a constant search for the next distraction. Once you lose your integrity, nothing ever feels right again. Every win feels fake, every laugh sounds rehearsed, and every peaceful moment is haunted by what they did to someone who never deserved it. They broke something inside themselves when they moved against you, and the harsh truth is, they know it. They won't admit it out loud, but when they're alone, right before sleep, they feel it. That sick twist in their gut is the universe reminding them that they had something priceless and destroyed it for nothing. Let this be your reminder too. You were priceless then, and you're priceless now. Their inability to see your value doesn't decrease it. It only reveals their spiritual poverty. Your account has been refilled with lessons, strength, clarity, and discernment. What they tried to break only made you more refined, more focused, more aligned. They lost access, but you gained vision. And if the betrayal had never happened, would you have discovered this new version of yourself? Would you have learned that silence isn't neglect, it's an upgrade in progress? Sometimes betrayal isn't your downfall, it's the filter that removes distractions, so you can finally see what's real. The universe witnessed every lie, every snake, every fake smile that hid a planted landmine behind your back. You don't have to lift a finger. The bill always comes due, and their debt is piling up in places they can't escape. Broken friendships, sleepless nights, fleeting joy, and a void where peace used to live. So walk tall, not in arrogance but in truth. You carry a light that cannot be duplicated, and they knew it. That's why they hated it, why they tried to silence it. But they didn't realize you're not fueled by their validation, you're fueled by alignment. Once the universe aligns with you, it doesn't matter who plots against you. They're just signing their own receipt. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them act like nothing's wrong. You keep building, keep glowing, keep moving forward as the one who survived their worst and still emerged chosen. The ultimate punishment isn't revenge. It's the knowledge that they gave up gold for dust, and now they have to live with that forever. Number 3, they laughed at your struggle, but now they're drowning in the same pain they once mocked, with no lifeline in sight. Mocking the fire that forged you only revealed their true expectations. They never thought you'd survive, let alone rise above it. Now they burn in silence, and there's nobody coming to save them. They found humor in your hardships when you were barely holding your life together, crawling just to make it through another day, holding back tears behind closed doors and forcing a smile in public just to survive. They pointed fingers, made jokes, called you too sensitive, too broken, too emotional. What they didn't realize, what they were too blind to see, is that while they mocked your cracks, something unstoppable was being reborn within the fire of your pain. They didn't laugh because you were weak. They laughed because they were scared. Scared that you had the courage to face your own darkness, to unravel, to bleed, and most importantly, to rebuild. People who run from their pain will always mock those willing to confront it. Their laughter was never power, it was panic in disguise. For a while you started to believe them. You doubted your journey, compared your messy healing to their superficial happiness, and wondered why it seemed so much harder for you. You questioned your progress, wanted to give up, thinking their lives were easier, not realizing that their entire existence was just a performance. While they pretended at peace, you were earning it, and that's what unsettled them the most, your willingness to go deep. Because when you go deep, you return with a strength they'll never know, scarred but solid. They laughed at your pain, but now they sit with their own, and they don't have your endurance. They mocked your tears, but now they cry in silence, never having learned how to sit with pain because they always ran from it. Now that very pain is eating them alive. And where are you? Still standing, still rising. You may not be fully healed, but you have something they never will, grit and soul stamina. You've learned to walk through storms without breaking, and that is what truly separates you. You aren't fragile, you're forged. You didn't fold under pressure, you faced it, and the universe watched every step, knowing you were built for greater things. It wasn't perfect. There were mistakes, self-doubt, moments when you looked at those who never risked growth and thought they were ahead. You forgot that slow progress is still progress and that real healing isn't loud. It's lonely, raw, and quiet. You wanted validation for a path only the chosen walk, and when you didn't get it, you started to question your own light. That ends now. The ones who laughed at your tears are now choking on their own. But unlike you, they don't have the courage to speak about their pain. That's the price of fake strength. It shatters when the mask slips. You never needed a mask. You healed in real time, with eyes on you, with people hoping you'd fail, with scars no one acknowledged, and still, you rose, quietly, fiercely, beautifully. They never believed you'd make it out, and their laughter was never about your struggle, it was their desperate insurance, convincing themselves you'd never become a threat. Because if you did survive, they'd have to face just how low they stooped to break someone who wasn't even fighting them. But you did rise, and now the joke's on them. This part is for you, chosen one. Never again doubt the power of your process. Never again mistake pain for punishment. The universe wasn't trying to hurt you, it was hardening you. While they laughed, the universe was layering you with wisdom, clarity, and vision. You had to break apart so nothing fake could remain, And now you're building with your own hands. You walk with something they can never buy, soul depth and realness, the kind of quiet strength that makes loud people nervous. You became what they only pretended to be, and that truth eats away at them. That's why they avoid you now, why they fall silent when your name comes up, why they still lurk and search for flaws. Because you made it, and they never expected you to. Let them sit in their silence. Let them feel the fire they once ridiculed. Only now they have no map, no strength, no guide. Because the one they ridiculed isn't there to carry them anymore. You walk with a different energy now, knowing exactly who you are. You've outlasted the lies, the laughter, the betrayal, and you've proven that those who walk through hell barefoot return with a fire that can't be faked. Keep walking, keep shining, keep healing, even when it's messy. Because healing in public is far braver than breaking in private. And the next time they laugh, let them. Because you've already survived their applause and their betrayal. The universe isn't laughing, it's building, and this time, it's building everything around you. Number 4. They tried to bury you with dirt, but it only became the soil for your growth. Now, you're a forest they can't escape. Every lie they told, every rumor they spread, only deepened your roots and made you stronger. They didn't just walk away, they tried to suffocate you with shame and slander, hoping your truth would never surface. But you were never a corpse. You were a seed. Each betrayal became a branch. Every rumor became fertilizer. And now you stand as undeniable proof that you can't keep a chosen one buried. Even when you doubted yourself in the darkness, thinking you were finished, the universe was building you into something unshakable. The very dirt meant to end you became your foundation. Now the same people who tried to erase you are forced to witness your rise, powerless as your light grows brighter. Their stories about you crumbled while your legacy took root. Stop resenting the dirt. It was never your ending, but your beginning. You flourished not despite the betrayal, but because of it. Today, you are the living testament that lies don't last. Growth does. You didn't just survive. You transformed, healed, and flourished in ways they never imagined. Hold your head high, walk tall in the forest you became, and remember, everything they did to stop you only made you stronger. Now they must live with that truth. Number 5. They tried to shame you in public, but only ended up exposing their own true selves. In their desperate attempt to right your downfall, they revealed their own corruption for everyone to see. It was never really about hurting you, it was all about putting on a show, craving applause and validation. But when the spotlight hit, their bitterness and jealousy were exposed, and the mask slipped off. Instead of destroying your image, they broadcasted their own flaws. You never had to defend yourself. Your grace, your silence, and your integrity spoke louder than any rumor. As the dust settled, your reputation stood strong while theirs crumbled. Even those who once cheered your downfall now watch in silence, rethinking everything. If you ever doubted your worth because of their noise, remember, being misunderstood by fools is not a failure, it's proof you're on a higher path. You weren't meant to blend in, you were meant to be the lesson. They wanted you to fight back, but you stayed grounded. Your strength and growth triggered their insecurity, and rather than doing the inner work, they tried to tear you down. Now every time they look in the mirror, they see the truth. The trap they set for you became their own undoing. So never doubt your strength again. Let them drown in their own false stories. Your life is louder than their lies, and now everyone can see who really stood tall. You survived the smear campaign and became untouchable. Number 6. They wanted your power, but not the process, and now their imitation is falling apart under pressure. They tried to copy your shine without enduring your scars, craving your results but not your resilience. They wore your energy like a costume, but real strength can't be faked. It crumbles if not earned. They never valued your journey, only the image and influence you brought, wanting the crown but not the struggle it required. They skipped the hard work, mocked your process, and chased shortcuts, but power that isn't earned never lasts. They didn't see the pain, nights and silent battles behind your growth. Now, while their copied version collapses, you carry your power with ease, forged by real experience. Your strength is rooted in scars and authenticity, not in show. So stop doubting yourself or shrinking to make others comfortable. They weren't jealous of your life. They envied your becoming, not realizing your shine was built from shadows and pain. While they hold together their imitation, you walk through storms with strength they could never copy. Your journey is real, your glow is earned, and their collapse is proof. You never have to prove your power. They proved it for you by failing to carry what you do every day. And the best part? You're still becoming. Number 7. They prayed for your downfall, but panicked when you rose untouched. They wanted you to lose so they could justify giving up, hoping your failure would excuse their own mediocrity. But instead of breaking, you bent, you cracked, and then you rose. Quietly at first, then powerfully, becoming undeniable. Your comeback exposed everything they feared they'd never become, turning you into a mirror that forced them to face their own wasted potential. In all that betrayal and envy, you doubted yourself, thinking maybe the silence meant you were done. But that silence was just preparation. While they plotted, the universe positioned you, and when you rose, they were left in the dark, shocked and scrambling. The most painful truth for them? You didn't need revenge. Your very existence, peace, and glow became their consequence. So stop apologizing for your growth. You're not the villain for moving forward when they quit. You became the proof that pain refines, not destroys. And now your strength, grace, and presence speak for themselves. Let them watch. Your glow is their unfinished business, and that's what truly haunts them. Number 8. They thought crushing you would be their ticket to a crown, but all they gained was a shame that clings to them, a stain they can't ever wash away. Some people think the only way they'll be seen is by killing your light, but what they actually end up doing is showing everyone just how dim their own spirit truly is. Let's be real. They honestly believed that stepping on you would somehow elevate them, that if they broke your name and tore down your image, it would give them a throne to sit on, a story to celebrate. In their minds, your downfall was meant to be their launch pad, but instead of rising, they just sank deeper, deeper into regret, deeper into a false reality, forced to keep up appearances while secretly haunted by what they've done. They wanted elevation, but tried to use betrayal as their ladder, not realizing that betrayal is always unstable. It never holds for long. So while they stood there thinking they'd won, all they really did was taint any success they reached, because no matter how loud the applause or how bright the spotlight, they know inside that it wasn't earned in the right way. That knowledge eats them alive. There's no peace in stolen victories, no rest when your so-called win was built on bringing down someone who never even harmed you. While you were minding your own business, trying to rebuild and heal quietly, they were scheming in the shadows, twisting narratives, and hoping that by ruining you, they could shine by default. But here's the hard truth. Attention is not the same as respect, and fame built on betrayal fades the fastest. People may have watched, but they never truly admired. Let's not overlook your role in all this, chosen one. You saw the shift in their behavior, you felt the coldness. You noticed how they seemed to celebrate your lowest moments. Even then, you didn't retaliate. You didn't trade integrity for temporary satisfaction. You chose to stay grounded, to hold your peace, to let the universe handle what you could have destroyed with a single word. That's true strength. That's character. That's what sets you apart from those who only know how to move in the dark. Don't think for a second that the universe missed their actions. Every move they made, every fake smile, every twisted story, it was all seen. The consequences are already unfolding. They now wear their wins like costumes, smiles that don't reach their eyes, confidence that feels forced, connections that never go deep. Because betrayal only brings fleeting moments of pleasure while integrity builds a lasting legacy. You didn't rise by tearing anyone else down. You rose by looking inward, by healing, by building yourself back up from nothing. That's why your success feels different. It's clean, it's unforced, it's real. They can't duplicate it no matter how hard they try. They thought that destroying you would elevate them, but all they managed to do was expose how far they'd fall just to feel important. Your survival is more than just getting through it. You've gone beyond them. Now every time they look in the mirror, they don't see the powerful person they hope to become. They see the ghost of what they did to someone who was only ever genuine and real with them. Let them carry that weight. Your rise is already louder than any of their betrayals, and as the truth grows clearer, as the masks slip off and facades crumble, let this remind you. You were never the one who failed. They were. They lost something real trying to destroy what they could never understand. You are still rising, still chosen, still undeniable. So don't just sit with this message. Move with it. Let every step you take be a testament to what real growth looks like. Remember, their path was built on shortcuts and shadows, while yours was forged in the fire of truth and resilience. Every bit of healing you've done, every time you chose integrity over vengeance, has made your legacy something they'll never be able to fake or erase. They thought breaking you would make them whole, but it only revealed the emptiness within themselves. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten wisdom.